Hello, everyone, and welcome back to
The Lo and Zoe Show.
Today. We are so excited because we're bringing forth part 2 of our 3-part Becoming Abundant series. So, if you guys already haven't listened to the previous episode, go ahead and listen to that one first because this one's going to make more sense. And just so you guys know, as a disclaimer, this is actually pulled off of a Facebook Live event that Laura and I did. So, the audio may not be as, up to par as Lo and Zoe normally is, but just keep in mind that this is something pulled from Facebook. You might hear us reference to the audience and things like that. So just stay in tune because the content is key and gold here.
Yeah, we just wanted to make the replays very accessible for people. I know for me, I like to listen to things as I go, and we think this is just content that people deserve to have.
Yeah.
So today we talked specifically about how it is that we reprogram the subconscious and your identity in order to uplevel yourself and thus uplevel your life. And then we also talked about the myth of belief.
Yeah, so this is a big one because we've noticed a lot of manifestation big players just say simply believe, 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 believe. But speaking personally, there's been times in which I saw that messaging around me and I felt so lonely, or I felt this disconnect inside because as much as I wanted to believe that I could have all these things, there was an inner void that was needing to be filled. And it was like feeling worthy, going to work on the identity of being someone who just innately believes, yes, I am unstoppable. Yes, I have that confidence and conviction about me.
Yeah, like literally becoming someone who belief is easy for. Belief is just a natural way of thinking for you, right? And then lastly, we wanted to let you guys know that this morning we launched our membership, the Abundant Beings Club, ABC, and that is $50 to $100 off depending on the option that you choose on the checkout page, which I'll link in the show notes below, for this week only. So until Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern, you can join our new signature program and accompanying membership. And
there's so much abundance in there, you guys.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
Time to become abundance
in order to create it. So let's get started.
I'm Lo.
And I'm Zoe, and this is
the Lo and Zoe Show. We're coaches and entrepreneurs who firmly believe that an abundant mind is the key to an abundant life.
On this podcast, we're going to be talking everything from how to manifest more money, travel, success in business, and beyond,
to overcoming the blocks that are holding you back,
to rewiring your brain so you can easily attract whatever it is you want the most in life.
If you haven't already, be sure to join us inside our Facebook community, Abundant Mind Tribe, for daily tips, mindset hacks, manifesting tricks, and more that'll allow you to build the confidence you need
to manifest the abundant AF life you deserve.
Now let's get started.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Hello, abundant beings.
We are a minute early. We're like super on the ball today.
We're just excited.
We're like sitting around being like, okay, how many more minutes until we can go live? Because we're on top of things. Okay, we will give it just a minute for some people to jump on.
You guys have had an incredible 24 hours since seeing us, or if it's a little bit shorter than that, if you watch the replay.
Yeah, and happy Monday. Happy Thanksgiving Monday.
That being said, we're very grateful for all of you and very thankful that you're joining us today, whether it's live or on the replay. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, so, okay, I just wanted to make sure this is good, but we've got some of you on. Say hi.
Let us know where you're watching from today.
Yeah. Hi, Christina.
Christina.
Okay, so, cool. Awesome. We're going to be adding to what we talked about yesterday, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about like the how. We discussed briefly yesterday that your personality, your identity, who it is that you are for yourself, and the beliefs that you have about yourself are 100% malleable and 100% something that you can build and alter and transform in order to then see that transformation reflected in your outer world. But this is something that a lot of people don't know about. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
We think that like, this is just who we are, and this is who I am, and this is how it is, and this is the reality. And you don't do yourself any favors by affirming things about yourself that you believe to be true, because it's the reason that those things are true. So one thing that like, I've always had a story about myself where a part of my identity has always been like, I'm not good at sports. Right? I think I was probably like picked last in gym class a couple of times when I was younger, and it 100% became a part of my identity. But I know that when I set my mind to things, I am quite good at them. I can always learn how to do things. But because I've always had this identity of not sporty or not, good at sports, like that's been my reality, even though it's not that it's actually true. It's that inside that story or inside that identity, there's no possibility for anything else to show up.
Yeah,
right?
and thus, like, from that space, you can only, as a byproduct of being that way, you manifest things to reflect that belief system back to you.
Yeah. So anytime I hear someone say like, oh, well, I'm really not good at this, or this just isn't in the cards for me, none of that's true. And we have to stop perpetuating these, and like we catch ourselves doing it as well. And it's very much sort of like the world that we live in, like I just get sick all the time, or I don't know, I'm not good at like getting in shape or going to the gym. Like, stop saying those things.
Yes.
Right. So hi everyone. Hello.
Hi,
Thanks
Chrissy.
for joining us for day 2. We love it. Okay, yeah, so today we're going to talk about the how to create a new reality, a new identity in order to create a new reality. We're going to be talking a little bit about like subconscious reprogramming and what that looks like. And we're going to talk about a myth around belief, cultivating belief. We know that in the world of manifestation, what everybody tells you to do is simply have, unwavering faith, simply believe in what you want. And we find it a very frustrating topic or frustrating like narrative that people put out there, because belief, well, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So if you've been someone that has a hard time, holding on to the belief needed in order to manifest, then don't worry, we're here for you.
Yes. And first I want to ask you guys, so based on the homework from yesterday, which was, creating that abundant being profile and choosing an action to step into to begin to embody that character, that abundant being version of you, we want to ask you guys, how did that go? Did you receive any reflections from other people in your life or just in your reality? Did you create something for yourself or notice something special? Let us know, because we would love to hear how that went.
Or maybe it was even just like a shift in how you got to feel for short periods of time, where it's like something that was on your mind or bothering you, or that you were feeling resistance around, became less significant for you. Maybe you just enjoyed the experience of stepping into a new way of being, temporarily feeling into those feelings of confidence, of abundance, of self-assuredness. Let us know what your experience was, and we want you guys to keep doing this, because it's a 48-hour challenge.
Yes.
But today we want to just kind of deepen some of the things that we talked about yesterday and prepare you, or like prep you guys with the tools that you need, or some of the kind of insights that you need in order to make this change everlasting, right? Or long-term. So before we do that though, what's our big announcement today, Zoe? Many of you already know.
Our big announcement that the cart is officially open. It is launch day for the Abundant Beings Club.
Yeah, for ABC. And actually I'm going to post it in the comments right now. So we won't talk too much about that. We might talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. But I've just posted the link there. It's lowenzo.com/ABC, and it is your complete identity transformation program / optional monthly membership, just because we know the power in continuing to do, really everything that I've successfully manifested in my life, and I know for Zoe as well, intentionally, has come as the result of ongoing mindset work. Yes. Really changing the way that we habitually think and feel. We also have launched, QC Squared a couple times, and people at the end are always like, oh my God, I don't want this to be over. So now we've created something that won't ever end.
Yeah, and speaking for me personally, and I know this a little bit goes for Lo too, is that we're shifting away from one-on-one coaching, and this will be your access to ask us questions, to get some hot seat group coaching happening. So this will be the exclusive place for Lo and Zoe to coach you guys on anything that you're going through. And as you begin to shift your identity, if questions come up, you have the ability to ask us, and we will answer. Yeah. And it's going to be really fun, really high vibe. There's also monthly gifts from us, so you're going to just get some exclusive content created by us for you. Things like meditations, things like I dropped my book Manifest Miracles in there for you guys. So there's lots of good stuff coming every single month. There's little surprises, and of course just abundance for you to support and nurture you as you go through this identity shifting process.
Yeah, so Chrissy says, I felt great. It helped with my motivation and confidence in getting work done. Definitely felt a difference. Loved it. Ina said, am I saying her name right? Ina, that's pretty. Agreed, Chrissy. I felt very confident. Love it. Tell us what your experience was. I find like when I do what we had you guys do yesterday and what we want you to continue doing, it's like just this immediate weight lifted, where things that I've been kind of like carrying around or worrying about or not knowing how to navigate, all of a sudden it's like super clear for me, or it just falls away altogether, right? And that's just like the very immediate effects. I've done, you know, what we had you guys do yesterday and had something manifest within, like something big manifest within minutes. I know Zoe has as well. So anyways, so today we want to talk about the how, right? Because, oh, actually, I just want to read Kathy's. I felt confident and loved feeling that way and felt I was capable of anything.
Yes, that unstoppable energy.
Even though I wasn't all dolled up yesterday, I felt beautiful. Oh my God, I love that, Kathy. And what would it be like to be that version of you all the time?
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean that you're not human. It doesn't mean that you never have, you know, those days of anxiety or whatever. It means that the majority of the time, that's who you are for yourself. Those are the kinds of thoughts that naturally run through your head. You don't have to choose them. You don't have to step into it. It's just who you are. It's your identity, right? If you had that subconscious programming, what would you allow yourself to create in your life? And what would actually, I mean, you might not have the answer for this, but the things that would be drawn to you at that newer energy, just as a way of you being, will, I mean, I know Kathy has a business and it's really quite profound.
Yeah, and when you're in that unstoppable energy, you'll notice that the thoughts that you're thinking are supportive and empowering to you too. And that's something we're going to dive in today, is the thoughts and the feelings as the next step here for your challenge, is to really get into what does this abundant being think and how does this abundant being feel? So you've identified you're starting to feel more confident, more empowered, that unstoppable energy. What are you thinking as a result of feeling that in your body? Are you aware of the thoughts that are crossing your mind?
I love what Lily said. She said, I created an abundant being profile, an up-leveled version of myself. What came afterwards was another list with small achievable steps that I can do right now. Oh my God, I love this. That will take me there over time. That felt very powerful and took away some of the overwhelm that I felt. So my brand, as many of you know, is the aligned entrepreneur within my sort of the business coaching side of my business. And the process that I teach for people always, and I say this is the only way I know how to guarantee your results in business, is to first align with that version of you, and then second, allow for the right action steps, the right ideas, and the right opportunities to come to you. So I always come back to the quote, success is not a place to get to, it is a place to come from. So what you experienced there, Lily, was aligning with where it is that you're going, and then immediately having things or action steps and clarity come to you, right? Whereas what we usually do is we take action from our current identity, our current way of being, of not having what we want, and then we get a whole bunch of action steps that keep us there because that's what we're aligned with, right? We want to first up level into the identity of that level, that version of us, and then the steps there have to be shown to you. And that's when, like, Zoe and I have both had, I mean, our big offers have been downloaded from stepping into that like next level version of us, right?
Yes.
And the big ideas in my business, I know for you as well, have come when I'm doing the energy work first, the alignment and the being work first, and then allowing for the steps.
Yes, because being in tune with that version of yourself allows you to be open to universal guidance, divine downloads, to reverse engineer yourself and move into that place of being. But it's also when you get a glimpse, when, as you guys are speaking about, you get a glimpse of this confident energy that you know is a possibility and a potential for you because you can access that feeling. Whatever you want to feel, it exists inside of you, and it's just a matter of reprogramming the being, the identity, to feel that on a regular basis. The personalities we spoke to yesterday is so malleable. You can, in fact, feel more confident than not more of the time.
Or the vast majority
of the time. It is a possibility.
I felt so free. My wife said she felt so confident and easy. It was fun. Keep doing it. I love it. Kathy said, even my husband made a comment, I love this, and said he felt my energy of feeling confident and I looked happy and excited. That is, right. I mean, that was one day.
Aren't those some of the best compliments though? Like, I love compliments on my energy because I'm like, oh, I have been working on it. You can tell.
Well, and when we started doing this work, I remember within a few weeks getting comments from people that had known me like most of my life saying like, what are you doing? Like something is so different, because I had this entirely new way of being where I was just so fulfilled and so sure of myself the majority of the time that people were directly reflecting that back to me, right? And that was just, I mean, those compliments are so great. And also you'll get big prolonged manifestations, physical changes in your reality soon thereafter as well, right? So in that new way of being, Kathy, immediately you got a reflection of it from your husband. The longer that you stay there, and when you learn to actually program that in as your new identity, your reality must shift in order to reflect back to you that shift in your identity and in your energy. And that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So where do we want to start with this? So you've probably heard us talk a lot about subconscious reprogramming. We're a big fan of Dr. Joe.
You guys know this, especially if you listen to the Lozo show.
I know, soon to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
We're manifesting it.
Lozo and Dr. Joe show. There's such a ring to it.
I know. Anyways, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I mean a number of others, but him especially, talks a lot about how it is that we reprogram the subconscious mind. So yesterday we talked about how your subconscious mind is responsible for the thoughts, feelings, emotions, actions that you are experiencing and taking on a day-to-day. Are we still here? Okay. It told us it was like going away for a minute, but hopefully it's okay. No, it's good. Oh, okay, good. It's just fuzzy a little bit. Okay, we're good. I was like, no, it was going so well. Anyways, what was I saying about that? So it's not a matter of willpower, even though I know that we are asking you guys to kind of willpower your way into a new identity just for the sake of the challenge. It is a matter of first going to work on your subconscious through understanding how the subconscious is programmed, right?
Yeah, and we even used the reference yesterday about it being like a computer. So it essentially is this computer program that's running your life, because what is in the subconscious mind is being manifested in your 3D reality, right? And so you can go to work on consciously reprogramming, up-leveling that computer system. You just need to know how to do it. And it's a lot through repetition, and it's what we teach in ABC. And Dr. Joe speaks about this too. It's like there are specific ways in which you can communicate and reprogram the subconscious mind.
Yeah, and I think like the easy, I mean, we go into quite a bit of detail in it, in ABC or around it. But really what it comes down to is your brain is a large network of neurological pathways where thoughts travel through. So thoughts that you think regularly have larger or more developed neurological pathways because your brain has recognized these are thoughts that she thinks on a regular basis. I'm going to make it easy for her, right? You guys might have heard me talk about this before. I know Zoe uses it a little bit too, but we always give the example of like going to the gym. When you first start moving a muscle that you haven't been working out in a while, it's uncomfortable, right? You don't have like the muscle network or whatever. Clearly, I'm not a personal trainer. You don't have the muscles to make that movement easy and comfortable for you because you haven't conditioned your body that way. But if you were to go to the gym every day or every other day for a prolonged period of time, your body starts to recognize this is a muscle that she's using regularly. I'm going to condition her body to make it easier for her to make these same movements, right? So that there's less energy expenditure, there's less, resistance or I don't know what the like muscle equivalent of resistance is, but discomfort, I guess. Yeah. So it's the same thing in your brain. The more that you practice a certain way of thinking and feeling, the more your brain will literally rewire itself. And there are like scans, they actually can see this happening to make that way of thinking very comfortable for you. And this is why people have such a hard time, especially in the beginning of their self-development journey, to think different thoughts and actually stay there, because they don't have, like anybody can affirm I'm a millionaire or whatever, but it's unlikely that you're actually going to stay with that because it's kind of an abrasive thought or a thought that you don't have the programming for, right? So we have to go to work on reprogramming our subconscious brain in order to see sustainable results. And when you do that, that's how you actually start to become someone different who regularly thinks differently, acts differently, feels differently, because you have literally programmed in that new program or overwritten the old programming by firing and wiring new neurological pathways in your brain.
Yeah, and so with everything that we're teaching you here, we're showing you how you can choose the identity, the one, your abundant being, and how you can align with that. And the way of alignment through that is to reprogram, to go to work on these neurological pathways and just create that to be your new natural state of being, who you are at the identity level.
Kathy says I'm already an LBA. She's one of my last round of LBAers. Anyways, but can I do ABC too? And absolutely, like, honestly, this is the work that
this is the work
everybody needs to do. And like LBA, I know I give you guys a whole bunch of other things as well, but I know that this work, I mean, when you start doing this work and doing it consistently and doing it in the manner that we teach inside, because we go into quite a bit more detail than I have in any of my other programs where I touch on some of this stuff, it has no, like, all the actions are easier. The marketing yourself is easier. The putting yourself out there is easier. I talked to a former LBAer just this morning who really took to heart a lot of like the identity stuff that I shared inside LBA. We go into much more detail in it in ABC. And she this morning was like, you have no idea how you've changed my life. And which of course I said, well, you've changed your life because you did the work. But it was this part of the mindset process that I shared inside LBA that she really has committed to over the last 6 months. And she has like a salon now and she's launched her whole business. And anyway, so absolutely yes. I think that it is, if no other work, I would recommend the ABC work for people. And we love like QC squared. It's, you know, we absolutely love that program, but I think that, I don't know, what would you say about ABC versus QC squared?
So they're both completely different programs, but both very empowering programs. And I mean, the big thing that's different about this one is that this is a membership, so this is the consistent work. So understanding something like QC squared gives you the opportunity to understand how manifestation can work in a big level, like manifesting quantum leaps. But when you go to work on the identity through ABC and you do this mindset practice every single day, you simply become someone who the manifestations that you're desiring are a byproduct of who you are. You don't have to work to manifest. It just happens because you are that person who makes a certain amount of money. You are that person whose life looks a certain way. You live in a certain place because you align with that identity. So it's your natural state of being. And this work is consistent work. So this is like the mindset work that you do every single day, like you go to the gym, and until, you know, this is where you live. And I think I mentioned this to you guys yesterday. This is where you live. So if this is a powerful and positive place to live, the outside world is a powerful and positive, empowering place to live. But if this is a toxic place, you know, nothing that you can manifest on the outside will have you feeling good, right? So, you know, you can create, let's say, quantum leaps no matter what. If you have applied yourself in QC squared, your results are inevitable and you know that you can create things. But going to work in this way allows you to be that person who feels so unstoppable every single day. And of course, you can manifest big things, quantum leaps. The manifestation is a byproduct. The abundance is a byproduct of who you are.
Yeah. So, Kathy, I think it would be a really, really good idea, especially if you have, you know, bigger and bigger goals, like to have this ongoing support with this work. I mean, we've created structure for ourselves to continue doing it every single day because that's how effective it has been for us. So I'm really excited to have ABC to offer to people because I just think it's the thing that especially entrepreneurs, but everyone and anyone can benefit from and needs. So we wanted to ask you guys too, because we're talking about, you know, basically reprogramming the subconscious through repetition. And one thing Zoe said before we jumped on was everybody has an experience or has had experiences where they started doing something or thinking something, and over time it became just who they were, right? They started going to the gym, and over time it became, it's not like it just became, it became a natural and automatic habit for them.
Yes, right? Like just like me going back to school again, going to acting school is like, this was a thing I wanted to do, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to acting school, and now I'm a student. So you have the idea, you align with the change, and then that becomes who you are. It's like we all know about habits that we may have implemented, getting up at certain times each day. This is a new way of habitually thinking about yourself, viewing yourself, and feeling into yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So look for a time when you started doing something, it might be like a new job that initially felt really uncomfortable for you, but that over time just became who you were. And showing up for that job and doing, you know, great work there and enjoying what you were doing and being good at it was just naturally who you were, right? It wasn't something you had to really try all that hard at doing. Not that you don't try at your job, but you know what I mean? Like you went from it being really sort of out of your identity to actually being a big part of who you were for yourself unconsciously. So that's what this change looks like. And you can choose the identity that you need in order to manifest desired results, right? In any area of your life, we are doing this practice right now. I'm especially doing it in the area of love and relationships, which I just never have. Like I've never really gone to work on my identity within more personal matters because I've been so like build business and make money, and that's been great. But now I'm ready to up level who I am being in all areas of my life, especially love and relationships, so that I can bring in and maintain what it is that I desire in that area as well. And it's the exact same work. And it's working really, really well. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about belief. What we were just talking about, like our pet peeves around the messaging of belief in the world of manifestation.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, you know, even big players in the space just say like, just believe and you will get it, or like just believe and it will manifest. But the thing about belief is that, I mean, I've really found myself in quite a lonely place when I've just consistently or continually had heard this message of just believe, believe, believe. And it's like, okay, well, I can say affirmations in my head, but like down at my core, I don't believe that I could manifest like $1 million. I don't believe that this is, how do I get there? There seems to be this disconnect, this missing link there. And the missing link, the missing piece is the identity work on going to work on how do you feel, you know, worthy of it. It's really about feeling into yourself and shifting yourself to someone who believes that, yes, they are unstoppable. Like you've all experienced this confident, unstoppable energy that comes from the practice of acting as if, you know, going to work in this way allows you to feel into the unstoppableness and then just naturally believe that these things are possible for you, rather than like trying to grasp at these belief systems and trying to figure out how to get it in innately who you are. It is this identity work.
Yeah, we want to know from you guys, if you've been in the world of manifestation for a while, have you ever had thoughts of like, why can't I just seem to do what it is that they're telling me to do? Even yesterday, I was watching someone's story who you know, has a large online audience who speaks like almost exclusively about manifestation. And her message to people was, someone had asked, what's like your number one manifestation tip? And her answer was, believe it's done, believe it's done. And she repeated it like 20 times. And my issue with that is that the myth around belief is that you can just turn it on. It's I could get, you know, like so riled up. And that's where
it's a lonely place to be, because there's a disconnect.
It's not something, if you don't have a subconscious program for belief in that specific area of your life where you're wanting to create desired change, you're wanting to manifest something specific, belief is not something you can just go, oh, I believe now. All that doubt and all that fear and that, you know, anxiety that I was feeling before, it's gone now because someone told me to have unwavering faith and then I just did it. Like, how many of you guys have told yourself that you're bad at manifesting because you can't seem to maintain the level of belief that everyone tells you is required, right? So the myth around belief, and the thing that really kind of like grinds my gears, because I see so many people being hard on themselves for not being able to do that, which is, it's like trying to run 10 kilometers when you, or miles, wherever you guys are, when you haven't even run one before, right? You don't have the infrastructure for it. You have to build the infrastructure first. You have to become that person, like Zoe said, who just naturally believes. It's like believing is just, you have that programming. It's just part of who you are. And it is a natural way of being and thinking and feeling for you.
Yes.
Right. And when you up level, and you guys have experienced this over the last 24 hours, when you up level into that version of you, even if you're just temporarily visiting it, you do start to think about things in your life from her perspective or his perspective, right? Belief is like a lamp that can be turned on or off. So that's like the myth, and that we want to, because
here.
Because you might be able to very temporarily say like, okay, I believe it's coming. I have faith in the process. The universe is bringing me all these things. My clients are on the way. The money is coming. And maybe temporarily that's something that you can tune into. But if you have subconscious programming or an identity around doubt in that area, and if it's like business, for instance, or money, something where you have a lot of like old stories, old identities, inherited ways of being from other people or beliefs that have been put on you. You cannot stay in belief until you build it from the inside out.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, anyways, got a little bit like riled up around that just because we see people getting so hard on themselves for not having belief. I mean, and that was actually a really good parallel with QC squared, is that in a very different way, QC squared is also about providing people with the missing piece needed to help them believe more.
Yes.
Right? Instead of, none of our programs just tell you to, just pretend that you already have it or just believe it's already done. Like I hate so much when people tell me to just believe it's done. I'm like, clearly I would do that if I could.
Yeah. And the wonderful thing I love about our programs is that we break it down in such a systematic way that if you apply this, your results are inevitable. It doesn't have to be this looming thing of like, just believe. It's like, well, how do you do that? Yeah. Well, we break down how you actually implement these new programs into the subconscious mind.
Yes.
And so they can create the outer reality on a consistent, sustainable basis.
Yeah. So yesterday we talked about acting, and we kind of had a little bit we asked you to take action as this new level of self. Usually what we would say about action is that it is a byproduct of your thoughts and feelings. But for the sake of the challenge, we wanted to have you start doing very tangible things as that level of you. When you start to go to work on thinking and feeling and programming in new beliefs, new thought patterns, the actions become much, much more natural. They're not things that you have to force, right? The whole like fake it till you make it is a Band-Aid at best, right? Mm-hmm. You want to actually become that person, right? Yes. And then you'll make it. So we wanted to dive just a little bit into the power of feeling and thinking and feeling as that version of you. Mm-hmm. Do you want to?
Yeah. So
you were saying some really good things earlier.
Yeah, so when you are in, like, tuning back into your guys' results over the past 24 hours, this confident energy, okay? So when you're feeling that embodiment, when you're feeling into that in your body, you'll notice that your thoughts are actually more supportive and more empowering naturally because you're feeling it in your body. And the brain will look for thoughts that support the way that you are feeling energetically. So when you're really in the energy of that and you're thinking powerful, empowering thoughts about yourself and about your self-worth and the badass that you are. You know, a lot of you had your identity be around business and like your success in that. So when you are feeling into that, paired up with a powerful thought about that, that is how you actually communicate with your subconscious mind. That is how you download new belief systems into the subconscious. Like, think about it like that computer program. When you're thinking a thought and feeling a feeling in alignment together, that is how you download it into the program. So it becomes within you, it becomes that way of being.
Yeah, exactly. So what we teach in ABC is, very specific and strategic ways of thinking and feeling thoughts and feelings that then become that subconscious programming for you. So today, your action prompt is we want you to keep showing up as your abundant being for at least the next 24 hours, see what comes up. And we want you to spend 10 to 20 minutes tonight tuning into the feeling of that future reality and of that future self, right? How would you feel if you already had X, Y, and Z, whatever it was that you said you wanted yesterday, right? How does the version of you who is making however much money or has the love of their life or is living in the home of their dreams, how is it that they feel, and how does it feel to actually be that version of you, right?
Yeah, and one thing that I find really helps with this specific exercise that we're giving you guys is listen to music that supports that way of being or that way of thinking. Like, if you're, wanting to create the identity of someone who is in love or in that powerful relationship, put on some love songs and just like I've danced around my house pretending that they're being sung to me about me. This is about me, embodying that energy. Or go for a walk and strut your stuff like that boss babe that you're stepping into, and listen to that music that's got the upbeat beats going that make you feel like a goddess, right? So just really, 15 to 20 minutes, or it could be in a meditation, but with this, I find when you are embodying and matching the feelings and the thoughts, it really helps to have music. It can be such a powerful way to just get into it, right?
Yeah, we talk about this quite a bit for business, and I have a lot of my clients and program participants listen to like music that makes them feel like a boss, right? Or like, because a lot of you guys said yesterday, you want to feel like unapologetic, like a badass. Like, what is some music that makes you? I love "Sorry Not Sorry" by Demi Lovato. Actually, almost anything by Demi Lovato.
I love "Levels" by Avicii. I feel like when I listen to "Levels" by Avicii, I'm like, there's nothing I can't do.
Yeah, and one thing that we were just talking about, so there's a lot of talk in the manifestation world around feeling the feelings of what you have, or what you want, sorry, as if you already have it, and that's what draws it to you. I actually disagree with this a little bit. We've all had experiences where we simply think about something, we don't get emotionally involved with it, and it shows up. The feeling into it is actually about reprogramming the subconscious so that you merely just start naturally thinking the thought. So a lot of the manifestation, and this doesn't really matter, you just have to think and feel as if you already have it, but the feeling part is not, it supercharges the manifestation, not because feeling is like a really attractive energy. It's just the thoughts that you're thinking that are bringing to you what you want, or creating what it is that you want. And we really go into that in like QC squared in that process, but it's more that your subconscious is especially programmed through emotion, experiencing emotion. So the more that, so with beingness or with identity, the more that you can tune into the feeling of that version of you, the faster that's going to become who you are.
Yeah, right? And as Laura said at the beginning of this live stream today, is that the reason why the brain does this is so that the body and you yourself don't experience fatigue. It wants to make it easy for you to feel this way.
Yes.
So the more that you in tune with, the abundant being and feel into that and keep feeling and aligning with the thoughts, the actions around that, the brain naturally wants to create that for you. The brain wants, you just have to know how to have the mind work in your favor. You have to learn how to be the master of your mind. And that's what we teach you in, ABC, but that's what we're bringing forth for you today.
Yeah.
It's just understanding that, all of this is malleable and you can go to work on creating it. And the brain, can be changed and it can work in your favor. It can be a powerful, positive support system rather than something that's disempowering, doubting, and toxic.
Yeah, and that's where the application of this knowledge that we're talking about truly is power. Because if more people understood how easy it is to become a whole new person if you desire to, I just think we'd live in a very different world.
Yes.
Like, I feel like I just want to shout this information from the rooftops, because if people, I think a lot of people want to stay stuck, to be honest. A lot of people like to stay in their victimhood, and that's not any of you guys, because you're here.
Yeah.
Clearly. But yeah, with this knowledge comes insane power to change who you are for yourself, and thus the life you create. Ina said, do you have to do a lot of deconstructing work with regards to your identity before you start this program, addressing the inner child? No, definitely not. I have people, implement some of these practices who have never done really any self-development work. It's going to meet you wherever you are at. And we are also going to address, some of those, the blocks that are in the way, or the things that are going to come up for you, the work that needs to be done.
Yeah, so this is like going to the gym for your mind. Something like inner child work and shadow work, that's more of a spiritual based thing, and that's not, this program is more about empowering yourself through changing your mindset, changing your brain at that level that allows you to change your identity and shift into someone who creates abundance in their lives.
I would actually say that what we do inside ABC is, in a way, it's very sort of new, real world, but it is inner child work. Right? It's really about feeding yourself and starting to talk about yourself and think about yourself in a way that is very based in love and acknowledgement and appreciation. So, I know there's lots of different types of inner child work, but for me, it's gotten me a lot more connected with myself, and a lot of those old stories I had about myself that were from, that inner child world of, self-development are kind of irrelevant now.
Yeah, so you step into this empowered version of yourself who validates themselves. They don't need to get that from the outside world. There's less seeking of that. Of course, we're human beings, and we're always need some type of validation. But the bigger longings for things, you learn how to fill your own cup with these exercises and mindset practice every single day.
Yeah. Okay, I've been listening to Seven Rings by Ariana Grande, and it's been helping me feel like a wealthy badass. I also love the song Just Got Paid, which if you listen really closely, it's actually about being broke, but we ignore that part because the vibes are all there. The vibes of like boss abundance. I love that song for. Anyways, tomorrow, guys, we're going to talk about self-doubt because this is something we get questions about constantly. So many of the people who join the group, when we ask like, what is it that you're struggling with? They say self-doubt, they say lack of confidence, lack of believing in myself. So we're going to address that head on tomorrow. So make sure you're here for that. And tonight, what we want you to do is or over the next 24 hours, is continue to show up as that version of you, right? Like just keep practicing it and intentionally spend at least 10 minutes tonight or maybe tomorrow morning feeling into the feelings of being that version of you. You can do that through a visualization. You can do that through music. You can do that through writing out reasons why you love yourself or why you think you're a badass, like anything that's going to help you to up level into that emotion that you're wanting to experience.
Yes. And this is all for you guys. So, if you feel like, you know what, I could spend 10 minutes, but I want to spend 40 on myself, do it. Okay? Yeah. It's all working in your favor. Like the more that you apply yourself in this practice, the more you're going to get out of it. So just remember, it's all for you.
Oh yeah. It could be like a bath with a glass of wine where you're like, I don't know, are watching Sex in the City and you're just like, this is my boss life. Like, like you can like silly little things like that. Where you are tuning into the emotion and you're doing it, like Zoe said, for yourself because you deserve it, and just take that bath as that version of you who really freaking deserves it.
Try it on. You're trying it on. Yeah. Feel into it.
Yeah. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for day 2, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for spending a piece of your day with us and tuning in to the Lo and Zoe Show.
If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to rate it and share on social media. Be sure to tag us.
Until next time,
stay abundant.